A fandom divided. From the sands of Tatooine to the jungles of Kashyyyk, HoloNet grifters spread hate and fear, forcing innocent fans to endure a joyless galaxy. Determined to keep the peace, two scruffy-looking nerf herders from the Outer Rim brave the wretched hive of hotcakes, scum, and villainy to bring hope to the hopeless. This is
No Disintegrations,
a Star Wars podcast.
This is where the fun begins.
Davo.
Hello there.
Haydo. De wanna wonga.
Oh, I love it. 2 eps in, and you're still ruining it. We had a cadence planned. We both sat there and said, we're going to start with saying each other's names, following it up with hello there, and then twice so far, you have chosen to ruin it.
I think I'm in theme because we're here to talk about the Mandalorian and Grogu. And hello there's not a quote in that film to my knowledge.
Look, I perpetually live in hope, Haydo, that you'll get it right because rebellions are built on hope.
Well, I've got news for you, bucko.
I still live in hope, my friend.
Welcome to I didn't do it right. Welcome to the podcast of tomorrow. Welcome to No Disintegrations, a Star Wars podcast.
As you can tell, we are consummate professionals. We have both been doing this for quite some time, and yet this still happens.
That's in my LinkedIn bio, professional.
Professional. And mine just says Star Wars podcaster.
Yeah, mine says professional AI hater.
We're both on the same page of that. I think we're at the same point.
Bunch of clankers. Clanker.
Wow, you got it in early this time. That's
yeah, you got to, because there's some clankers in this movie, isn't there?
Roger that.
Oh, Roger. Alrighty. Yeah, Mandalorian and Grogu in theaters. There's no paid promotion here, so go and see it if you wish.
I mean, look, to be frank, you have to have an audience to have paid promotion. and we're still cultivating.
I disagree because most people's audience is like fake bots. So like again, clankers.
So what you're saying is we need to get some paid clankers to know that this podcast is a success.
We should just like invent our own side business. That's just like, oh yeah, we'll find you an audience, and it's literally just us making like 40,000 Instagram accounts a week.
That absolutely sounds like a plan and not a whole lot of busy work. I think we should definitely do that. However, we are here this week, as we've mentioned several times, to discuss The Mandalorian and Grogu movie, film, flick. However, before we jump in and delve into what we loved and what we hated, or I guess in keeping with the theme, the good, the bad, and the ugly, Haydo, what have you been up to over the past week? What pop culture diversions have you been dining on?
I know we're here to talk about another film, but I want to talk about this film instead. The Sheep Detectives. Fuck me. What a banger of a film. You gotta see it. People are like, what you like? It's Knives Out with sheep, and I don't know what more you want. It's one of the most heartfelt whodunits I think I've ever seen, and I have to tell this story. It's embarrassing. Is it embarrassing? Maybe. I'm at the cinema before seeing The Sheep Detectives, and I've just got to fucking take a shit. And
wow.
Yeah. Welcome to the Scat Podcast. So I need to take a shit. I'm fucking scrolling on my phone, while I'm doing my business. And I see some little, Star Wars post about Imperial probe droids. And my brain immediately like starts making the noise, like, when it's on Hoth, it's like, but the thing is, while I'm taking a shit in a pretty full public restroom, I'm making that noise out loud.
Of course you are. Of course you are. I sat there and I was while I was ingesting this sidebar, I was like, do I ask the question? Do I want to know more? I don't, but I dared to think the question, and you answered it. Now, I was hoping that there's another Star Wars fan there.
I hope the person in the store.
It was like Imperial broadcast received.
Yeah. Who's found the rebel base? Yeah, that would have been so funny.
Bombers inbound.
Yeah, that was me on a Sunday night, just
My goodness.
carpet bombing the porcelain while making.
See, I was all ready to just go, oh, you're talking about Shears Out, the movie. But instead, now we've just gone in a whole different direction. This is great. This is 2 episodes so far. You decided to start last episode with a discussion on Ray Park and SA. And now we're talking about sheep films and scat. So kudos to you, my friend.
But yeah, great movie. Big recommend from me. It's like no one's talking about this film at all, which is crazy to me because it's genuinely incredible. Starring Hugh Jackman. I always forget Hugh Jackman is like capable of being in a movie where he's not like a mediocre Wolverine.
I've always liked him. I think he's got great range, and he did used to choose a lot of diverse projects. Look, this is definitely high on my radar. It's literally two of my wife's favorite things in the world, which is detective stories and sheep. So, yeah, I'm definitely keen on watching that. I've just been caught in a chokehold by Crimson Desert. Yeah, I know you're saying that just to be controversial, rage baity.
Haven't played it.
Of course not. I'm really enjoying the Skyrim-esque distraction. The jank decreases with each update from the devs. And I've never seen such fucking love from a development team that have, I think this is like their 6th patch, that like major patch that they've done. And they are on point, like listening to what the community wants. And they are actively going, no, we're fixing it. And all for free. They're not sitting there going, you need to buy this DLC to get this patch or whatever. They're just going through and patching things and making updates, adding content just for shits and giggles. It reminds me of what they did with No Man's Sky, but over a insanely accelerated time frame. Because it's like No Man's Sky was like fucked when it came out. And then like years later, it's like, this is what we wanted to deliver. Whereas Crimson Desert's done it within like 6 weeks. Has just gone and added so much more than people were asking for.
Man's Sky is... I haven't played it since launch, but I remember buying it at launch and feeling that I got fucking fleeced.
Absolutely.
I felt like I had gone to like some, shoddy black market. And this guy had been like, oh, yes, great wares. And then I get home and it was just a pile of shit.
Very, very cyberpunk-esque.
Cyberpunk was arguably worse. Cyberpunk was one of the worst games I'd ever played at launch purely because it didn't work.
It's broken.
And it made me so angry because like I could see the world and I'd see everything that they'd built and it was like, damn, if only they'd had another year.
The vision. You could see and taste the vision. I totally get you on that. I have a mate who's obsessed with No Man's Sky and he has been like at me for years, like just play it. And I went over to his place a couple of months ago and checked it out. And it's tight, man. Like it is really, the stuff that they've done and what they've changed is amazing.
It does look great, but the way I've always felt about it is it's like getting back with your ex. It's like, nah, you hurt me really bad, actually. And it's like, I get it. You've had a big glow up. That dress is tight. You've got new shoes. You are rocking it. But at launch, you were a piece of shit to me.
Do you know, I had the opposite because when I got Cyberpunk, right, I bought that deluxe bullshit, like $450 edition.
Oh, yeah, you bought the
fucking... Like I got, and I was so hyped for it. And then, and I had it and it was like a Christmas present. And it was there and I was so fucking hype. And I had a mate who was reviewing it and this was like post-embargo. And I was like, look, fucking unfiltered thoughts. And he was like, unless you have a PS5, don't play it. And I didn't have a PS5 at that time. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I've waited this long. I'm happy to wait. And I waited until they just dropped Phantom Liberty and they'd done the 2.0 update. I had not touched it since. I hadn't watched anything on it. I went in completely don't ask me how. I had no spoilers and I went in blind for over a year.
This is a common thing for you too, because you're like 2 from 2 of owning a massive, expensive statue of a game you haven't played yet. Because you had that massive Ghost of Tsushima.
And I had no spoilers on that as well. Or Horizon Zero Dawn. And I played that a decade after launch. Nothing was spoiled for me. I'm absolutely shocked. But no, 100% on that.
I remember going to your house, so there was this awesome Jin Sakai statue. And I was just remember thinking, like, you haven't even fucking played the game. What happens if you play this and you absolutely hate the game?
I knew I would love it, and I did. It was as advertised.
Look, I was secretly hoping that you would hate Jin.
Of course you would.
Purely for the comedy of owning statue to something a 30-inch Jin Sakai statue in your living room that you would have to come down the stairs and look at every morning.
I mean, that was a beautiful present from my little sister, and that was like fucking for my 50th. And that thing is like, that is not cheap. Do you know what I mean? That's like the
that thing's like
$2,000. Yeah, keep going, man. I think that was like about 3.5 G's. It was crazy because it was like the limited edition, but it was fucking mental. And I love that thing, and I loved that game. But yeah, sidebar. I actually had so you had that glow up. I had the like, oh no, this is the woman of my dreams thing. I'm glad I waited. Do you know what I mean? It's like, should I ask her out now or wait till later? And I waited till later, and I had like the absolute perfect experience with Cyber.
The way you've said that made it sound like, she was 16 at the time, so you've waited till she was of age.
No. I was like, I'm in a bad headspace now. I should not ruin this by getting together.
So what you're saying is you groomed
No.
77.
Nope. I am not acknowledging anything you've just said, young man.
I'm just going to leave a note here. Check Epstein files.
Anywhere you can get a reference in. So anyway, that's kind of where I have been enjoying the Crimson Deserts, and to be honest, I've actually parked the story campaign, and I am actively not doing anything in the story until I've like knocked out a whole bunch of the side quests. And the other thing too I found is that because my friendship with you has led me to become a trophy whore and a platinum chaser.
Yeah, welcome to the mentally ill club.
Well, I looked at it, and the thing is they have all of these like obscure challenges in either combat or weaponry or puzzle solving or whatever. And literally every trophy is associated with all of these challenges. And I've looked up online, and apparently the plat is like 200 to 300 hours. So I'm like fucking hell. I was like, I'm going to be here for a while.
I think I'd rather walk through an actual desert.
Yeah, you say that, but you would fucking do it. I know that if I end up loaning you Crimson Desert, like you'll sit there, I'll be like, I haven't seen you in 2 weeks, man. What are you doing?
Challenge when I finish 007 First Light, which is, I've been playing that. I'll lend you that and you lend me Crimson Desert. And I reckon I can platinum Crimson Desert before you platinum 007.
Challenge accepted.
My mental illness knows no bounds.
It truly doesn't. All right. Unsurprisingly, the two people with ADHD have tangented fucking hardcore.
Yeah.
Why don't
focus up?
Focus up. Thank you for indulging us with the pop culture sidebar.
I imagine if like the one person who clicks on this, like 20 minutes in, and they're like, this cunt's going to shut up about Crimson Desert. What the fuck is this?
I'm pretty sure they're like, I tuned in for the Mando Grogu podcast. What is going on? So why don't you set the scene for the film?
The film, Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu, directed by I was going to say great mate, but you don't know him.
I feel like I do.
We know him through his art. Jon Favreau. I'm hesitant to call it a film. It's 4 TV episodes stitched together, released in cinemas. is how I feel about it.
Are you? I'm assuming you're talking plot-wise as opposed to production values.
Yeah, it definitely. Production-wise, it's definitely. You can tell there's more to it than the TV show. But there's a funny interview with Jon Favreau, actually, where he's just like, yeah, we had like a Mandalorian season 4 planned. And it's like, yeah, I bet you did, because it's in this film. Because obviously, if you haven't seen, I don't think you even need to see any of the TV shows to really
Well, I think
enjoy this
that
movie.
was by design, right? They did this because they wanted to both capitalize on what people were hoping for season 4, but also wanting to have, I guess, a soft entry point to the
Absolutely.
franchise for everybody.
This felt like a soft reboot to me. This was like, hey, if you haven't been in this galaxy for a while, but I bet you've seen Grogu everywhere and his shiny companion.
We're sitting there calling it Baby Yoda and not Grogu.
Yeah, learn his fucking name. It's such like it's that like actually meme. It's like, oh, do you like Baby Yoda? And you're like, actually, his name is Grogu.
Let me Mando-splain it to you.
Yeah. Oh, Mando-splain. That's pretty good.
I have moments.
Yeah. This film does too. Not many, but whoa.
Hot Takes Haydo is back.
Yeah, no, it felt I have to preface it too by saying, like, I enjoyed the movie, and I like it. There's more to like than there is to like hate.
Just reminding people that this is a Star Wars podcast of people who love Star Wars.
And I think two things can be true though. Like, I enjoyed it, but I also acknowledge that this was like a corporate strategy playing out. Obviously, they got in a room and were like, "Hey, we want Star Wars back in the cinema because obviously we need more money." And we're not getting it from Disney Plus, so
I feel like they're looking at it going, we don't know what the next Star Wars film looks like. We have a lot of embers in the fire, but we need something that is going to hit. Because, I mean, I think we can both agree this film is incredibly safe. Like it takes like there are no risks. There's no "I am your father" moments or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? It's quite formulaic as far as like it ticks the boxes. I referred to it as just it is extremely fan servicey, but I don't have a problem with that. I find myself, particularly since I stopped reviewing, I'm far less critical of movies and I focus on the things that I enjoyed rather than the things I didn't.
It is very safe. It's so low stakes that I want to argue there's no stakes almost. And when I say stakes, I don't mean like big galaxy spanning stakes. Like, I don't want that. We have that in the background a little bit with the Imperial Remnant, that's where he left off in season 3, right? It was like, oh, I'm gonna live on my little farm with my little green man, and I've got my cool sports car, and I'm just going to take contracting jobs for the New Republic. And that's how the film opens. You know, he's taking out every bad guy in your deck of cards. You know,
I mean, look, the setup was good. I liked that. You know, like you saw that in the trailers that was, you know, like it's a deck of cards. I thought that they would lean a little heavier into that. I mean, because how about we break down, and just for anyone who hasn't seen it, spoiler territory. So you've got yourself to blame if you keep listening now. If you haven't seen the movie, then go watch the movie now, and we'll be waiting for you when you come back.
If you haven't seen Mandalorian and Grogu, go and see Sheep Detectives.
Damn. But look, it's fairly by the numbers as far as, you know, it starts off giving you a nice little intro into, you know, who they are, sets the scene of, you know, he's a badass. Grogu is the lovable, childlike scamp who just always gets into mischief, but then, you know, comes through in the punch when he can. There's not really a lot more to it other than, you know, Rotta the Hutt. I mean, I know I was expecting Hutts in it, but I was not expecting him to be in it. I was not expecting him to be jacked in it. A jacked Hutt is something I never thought I'd live to see, but it was quite wonderful. He was definitely the most interesting character in it. And then the rest of it just becomes a double kidnapping, you know, rollicking romp of, you know, gunfire and a little bit of character development, and then the film pretty much ends where it began.
Yeah, that's the part that like there's
very cyclical.
There's little growth too. Like, Mando and Grogu aren't really challenged in any meaningful way. Grogu is a little bit, which I think is the best part of the film.
Agreed.
When he's forced to, you know, care for Mando when he's been poisoned by the dragon snake. You know, he builds that little hut, which looks like Yoda's hovel, which is, you know, an obvious. It's like poetry, it rhymes. But like who they are at the beginning of the movie is who they are at the end of it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't change.
Although I dare to say that Grogu is a little more competent And
He
a
is
little more sure of himself.
I was kind of hoping for him to like speak, maybe his first words or something. Just something, you know, I thought might have been kind of cool. I'm not fully expecting his first words to be the way this is. It'll be something like cringe like that, or it'll be like him asking for food.
I imagine the latter, though some studio exec will probably get involved and be like, no, do the catch line, but do it Yoda style.
Yeah, so like the setup for the film is, you know, he's hunting down these imps. And this is how you can tell this is like the script from the TV show, because it's like, you got to go here and hunt this guy down. Okay, I hunted the guy, but he died. And it's like, well, we need information. So I've got another job for you. You're going to go talk to these other guys who are going to give you information about this guy, who you're then going to rescue this other guy so that then they'll trade us the information. And it's like, okay. And then it becomes this like planet hopping affair, you know, where you go to Now Hutta, which is really cool. I thought it was cool to see Now Hutta in live action.
I think I agree with you. You could definitely feel the episodic content.
You can bookmark it so clearly while you're watching it. And normally you can bookmark it in terms of like your 3-act story structure or your hero's journey. But this one, you're like, oh, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, finale.
Yeah. There's like big action set piece at the end, you know, X-Wings coming in for the rescue, you know, not Death Star blowing up, you know, fade to black, resistance fucking jump
the X-Wings flying at the end and they blow up the poop hut. The poop hut that the Hutts live in just looks like a giant mud turd.
It really did. It was not appealing. It didn't have any of the I don't know, panache, for lack of a better word, of the Hutt's palace in Tatooine or anything like that. You know, that had a really lovely kind of vibe and look to it. And this was just like, you're in a swamp. It's swampy.
Yeah. Oh, it's got to smell like arse, eh?
Absolutely. It's rotten eggs all fucking day.
Well, I guess let's launch into what we liked and didn't like about the Mandalorian and Grogu, which I'm going to call, what about the film? Are you bringing in hot or warm? Or what are you bringing in cold?
I feel like warm, double-edged sword for me, and I'm sure you'll correct me because I can't remember the name of the other bounty hunter. What was his
Embo.
name? Embo. I found that I would have liked a little bit more time on him. I mean, he seemed to be the only real threat, as opposed to I can't remember, what was the name of the dragon thingy?
The dragon snake.
Dragon snake, thank you. The snake thingy that was like a dragon, dragon snake.
The dragon snake.
Like they seem to be the two major like threats throughout the whole thing. The rest of it was kind of like not very threat-esque. So, you know, for me, it was just like, and also we already know that they survived through this because the series is going to keep going. So there was no real, you didn't feel like, oh, fuck, somebody. It's like what you said about watching Solo, where it was just like the stakes are still there. You feel it, but at the same point, you know, everybody makes it out. So, you know, they're not going to kill off Mando or Grogu.
Oh, no way. You can't bring the cash cow to the theater.
So do you know what I mean?
Kill him.
There was no, you know, they're not going to kill off Zeb. So there were no stakes in it as far as, you know, they're all going to make it out alive. Did it make it any less enjoyable for me? Absolutely not. But I didn't feel any Rogue One Vader terror. I didn't feel that terror like when Vader turns up in Maul. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have any of that moments. Like even the dragon snake, I was like, he's going to get out of it. I mean, the most interesting parts for me were the parts where he didn't have his weapons and he was just relying on basically Beskar to save his life. Like, I found those the most interesting moments, and obviously the part where Grogu saves him and has to like kind of fend for himself. I thought that was really interesting, and that was definitely the part that captivated me the most. I don't have a lot that came in cold for me because I like I said to you, man, Star Wars is like pizza for me. You know, even if it's bad, it's still pretty good. And I don't think this is bad. However, the part that is absolutely coming in hot is Rotta. All fucking day, every day. Could not get enough of him. Needed more. Everybody needs a jacked Hutt in their life. He fucking owned every scene that he was in. And it was really wonderful performance by Jeremy Allen White.
Interesting, because I think he sucks.
I love him.
I think he delivers every line with the same cadence. When he started talking English, I was like, oh, I would have rathered he just was subtitled the whole time, speaking Huttese. And I understand why, because it's like, it's the TV show thing. It's like, oh, well, it's kind of been made with the idea that you're on your phone, not watching the television show, right?
You can't have subtitles.
And that's so emblematic to me because the first interaction they have, he does his whole spiel about, do you know how hard it is to be Jabba the Hutt's son and get out of his shadow and like be your own man? And that's a really cool direction for the character, I think.
Absolutely.
But then the second scene he's in is he talks to Mando again and he has the same conversation. And it's like they're meant to be like an episode apart almost, because it's like none of this is new, man. You already went on this whole rant of like, and then I entered the pit and they cheered for me.
I disagree. I think this is just an extension of Maul's damaged legs.
No, this is worse though.
And they're just like, we need to multiple explain this for people because you're not getting it because you may be second screening it while you're watching this.
Yeah, I just thought... Like, I love Rotta in the film. I love the way he moves. I love the way he fights.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cool. I just think the voice, I don't think it's a voice performance. It really did feel like he's the guy from The Bear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just like reading his lines, like on a phone, and he like emailed them in to Lucasfilm. Like
I did not get that.
Nah, I found it really apathetic. But not as apathetic as what I'm bringing in cold, unfortunately. It's just Sigourney Weaver. I'm devastated. I love Aliens so much. And I was so hyped to have Sigourney Weaver in Star Wars.
I mean, I have the same love, you know. I mean, she's like the corner piece of so many franchises I grew up with. And I love her as an actress. And was it cool seeing her piloting an X-Wing at the end? Fuck yes.
Looked great in the X-Wing flight fatigues. Flying an X-Wing is always going to look cool. Leading Blue Squadron, which is a cool like callback to Rogue One. But yeah, I just found her performance to just be, she's just like reading her lines almost. I was like, do you like want to be here or not?
Jawanawanga.
Jawanawanga. So that was definitely a low for me. Those two performances, like I really didn't like Rodder's lack of, I don't know, just a bit of oomph. He didn't, like the voice performance doesn't match the physicality of Rodder. Is what I thought was missing.
I thought there was a sensitivity to it that and maybe, you know, my love for the actor is kind of overshadowing what the actual performance was, and it may have been, you know, I may have some rose-colored glances on it, but
because everyone tells me, oh, you got to watch The Bear, and this is like I think this is the only thing I've ever seen this guy in. Well, he's not in it, but you know what I mean. And I was kind of like, oh well, if that's his Rodder, then maybe I don't want to watch The Bear.
You should absolutely watch The Bear. The Bear is a absolutely fantastic television show, and that's a different sidebar. But okay, so you're very vocal about what came in cold. What came in hot for you then?
I loved seeing Embo. He's one of my favorite bounty hunters from Clone Wars.
Well, it's interesting too that you see like the whole thing is set up that Mando is a badass. Like the opening sequence, he like literally single-handedly takes out like 50 Imperials, 3 fucking AT-ATs.
Which I love too, because like in the lore, the Imperial Stormtrooper is meant to be like the elite force of the Galactic Empire.
And they're basically red shirts.
Yeah, because there's also an Imperial army. And we see that a bit in Andor. It's like the guys wearing more of the fatigues with a bit of body armor. But yeah, and he goes through these guys like butter.
Honestly, it's like he's having a fucking casual stroll through the park. He's just like,
he's hitting like R3 on his controller to like slow down time and just like he's dead-eyeing them from Red Dead Redemption.
It absolutely feels like he's got an aimbot on and he's just running through just like, that one, you're going to be there. It's like he's doing a speed run on a game that he's played 50,000 times before. I know exactly where everybody's going to come out. And then, you know, because he runs through them all like, as you said, butter, takes out the AT-ATs. And then, you know, the first real threat or challenge he had is that guy like literally takes him out in, 5 seconds?
Dude, Embo fucking murks Mando.
So quickly.
It made me laugh a little bit in that scene.
Like, are you a fucking professional or not?
Because he like runs out of his own home, basically, and he steps on a fucking trap like a noob.
Not once, but twice, right? He gets grabbed twice, and you're just like...
Yeah, Mando gets fucking captured twice. The first one I don't understand. Because he gets gassed, and it's like, mate, does your helmet not have a seal? Surely the helmet has filters, right? It has to. Like...
Maybe he ran out.
Yeah, he gets done in twice. The shock trap one is like, you could put Benny Hill music on that. That's cold too, because they could have easily done something where, Embo leverages his Mando's love for Grogu to capture him.
Or at least draw him out a little bit more, or do you know what I mean? Like mid-fight, have him like, them going toe-to-toe, and he just slips that fucking trap out behind him, gives Mando a kick back, and then boom. Do you know what I mean? Just makes it look like an elite finishing move that he's just thrown out there. But instead it's like literally, I planted this down 5 minutes ago because I know you're going to walk this way. And he just literally walks out of like, dum, 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 dum. Oh, shit.
Yeah. No. And yeah, that's the biggest miss for me, I think, in the film. There's so much opportunity for tension in that scene. The lighting, it's dark, it's stormy.
You're getting the with every flash of lightning, you're getting like the glint off the Beskar.
Yeah.
And it was so nice and otherwise pitch black.
And Embo's got his new pet, Anuba, Kibu, which is awesome. He had a pet Anuba in Clone Wars, which was called Marek, funnily enough. Not to be confused with Inquisitor Marek, which is, again, the knight from Arthurian legend that turns into a wolf, because Filoni loves his wolves.
Conspiracy. Is it the same character?
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
So yeah, he's got a cool new Anuba. There's and that's a cool scene where the Anuba comes over the top, hunting Grogu and the Anzellans, and then it's immediately ruined by what I call like the MCU-ification of film. He got me. It's like, fuck, man. Does every moment have to have a quip? Like, just let the Anuba be fierce. And they do that a lot. They build a bit of tension and then they pull it right back because, as you said earlier, like, it's very safe. And, like, I don't want Mando and Grogu to be, like, some gritty, like, I don't need it to be Unforgiven, you know what I mean, with Clint Eastwood.
It definitely felt... I don't know how to describe it more, and because they really set this up in the series as particularly the first season. This is a fucking Western.
Yeah.
This is a space Western. This is what it is. These are the vibes. Buckle up. You're going to get this. And you got a lot of that from Book of Boba Fett as well. And with this, it just seemed to be, I don't know how to describe it other than more and less Western at the same time.
Totally.
I really felt that there were elements that were just so great and then elements where they could have gone further and they pulled it back. I mean, a lot of it is like I think one of the most interesting parts of this, and it was a sidebar that I wanted to bring up with you, is that, so outside of Favreau and Filoni, one of the writers is Noah Claw. Now, Noah Claw wrote the majority of the Book of Boba Fett. I'm assuming the parts of it that were not the half season of The Mandalorian and Grogu that was shoehorned into it, that I know you feel a certain way about. But I definitely felt like there were some elements of, I don't know, I feel like this guy has a fascination with tribalism and stuff like that, because it definitely, you're kind of getting a sense of that with how they did the Kalankas. Do you know what I mean? Like their I don't want to say costuming, but do you know what I mean? Like the way that they had taken on personality. Like I felt like they had more personality than I'd ever seen before.
Yeah, that's something I love in this film. The droid Gotra.
Gotra, thank you.
They're so cool.
Look at you with the lore words, and I'll just do the vague descriptions.
Yeah,
of what
I mean, I got more lore. Their first appearance is in a novel called Tarkin, which was like a Rogue One prequel.
Nice.
Pretty good book, actually. Like, it's a throwaway. But yeah, I love them because, we both love clone troopers. And during Bad Batch, we were talking about like how the clones are like the old discarded veterans of a war. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was so cool as well to see like the B-1 battle droids, the B-2 super battle droids, and like the droid commandos but they're veterans of a war too, when you think about it. And droids in Star Wars they're sentient. So it was cool to see them they got furs on, and it's like, you don't need those. You're not getting cold.
Yeah, but you could see it's like it's a constant. It's like a conscious choice against programming.
Yeah,
that they were wearing that, and I really found myself more enamored with it than I thought I would be. And,
do you know what
no Roger Rogers. Do you know what I mean? Like, no, or maybe there was one or two in that, but it wasn't like that cringy quippiness of it. It was they actually felt, even though they get, as they're droids, so they get, snapped into.
The film needs a large amount of enemies to kill off, basically.
Yeah, and they felt like they filled that, but at the same point, I still felt they had personality, even though there was no standout one that was like, I'm the leader or whatever else. But there just seemed to be, here's some cool little production design, art direction that we're going to do. I felt like they just went through all of the concept art and was like, let's just take all the cool, put it in together. And I have no problem with that. I think it's great.
When I was watching the movie, I was sitting there like, is the visual guide available for purchase? Because I need it. Because when I was a kid, I'd always go get the visual guide after the film and just look at everything. And I want to do that for this movie so bad because I love the designs of the droids in particular. Some of them have Embo's similar, samurai sort of hats. Others there's like B2s with B1 heads and vice versa.
I like that. But some of them have like war paint on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's kind of where I was going with the tribalism. And since this is it feels like a very natural segue, there's a couple of things I've got to talk about as far as production values, which is for me, I looked at this and I was like, this is a film. Yeah. As far as I know that we talked plot wise, this feels like a bunch of episodes shoehorned together, but visually this had all of the fucking earmarks of I am Mr. Favreau and I have done the big budget films, and I know how to squeeze out as much from the CGI as I can and from the production.
Yeah, it's like him and Filoni obviously working on the TV shows. There's a dump truck of money. And it's like, hello, Mr. Filoni and Favreau, go play with your action figures on the screen.
Yeah.
And then this time they were like 4 dump trucks of money.
Right.
And it was like, go play with your little action figures.
You could
but
see,
for the theater.
Like right from the start, you could feel that and sense it. I mean, there are a couple of shots that when they first pull into, for lack of a better word, Echo Base, or we'll just say the Resistance Base, it was giving very much Apocalypse Now vibes, and it felt like dirty, grimy. It had that Vietnam War, U.S. hangar vibe to it, and I
totally
loved that aesthetic. I thought that was absolutely fucking spot on. It had that
it's lived in.
Yes,
it's not all shiny, and it's like, oh, that's where the X-wings go. It was like that's where the pilots live.
Yeah,
I love that every interaction too with Weaver's character. I think it's Colonel Ward or whatever.
Yes, Colonel Ward.
It's always in the bar, and you see they're playing it looks like pool, but there's, I don't know, space snooker. And there's the bar, and there's a lot of cool nods to the Mos Eisley Cantina in there. They've got the IG-88
It's also giving MASH vibes, right?
Oh,
there was so much of just that lightheartedness. They're all sitting there. I was waiting for fucking Hawkeye to come out and order a martini at any point because it was so spot on. And those elements are definitely maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I definitely felt the nods to it.
There's no way it's not a reference to MASH and Apocalypse Now. Star Wars wears its influences on its sleeve, and the way you know that is if you've seen anything else that Star Wars is based on, you notice it immediately.
I mean, other stuff that really stood out to me was when he's chasing after Lord Janu, who is the, surprise Imperial that they're looking for. There was a scene, and I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but, when they go for the final confrontation and they're kind of they're making the daring escape, which is just a classic chase scene where they're escaping on a speeder and there's all these stormtroopers following them in speeders. All of the speeders had this 1940s. Honestly, it felt like an old school Cadillac chrome look to them, that retro futuristic vibe. And I was like, I am fucking digging this. I'm loving all of this aesthetic. And then they bounce all over the place when they go to the planet where Rotta's fighting.
Shikari.
It's got this whole like crazy cyberpunk, and then also the score was like this very futuristic-y.
The score is awesome. It's so damn good. I
It's
think
so different.
it's,
It's familiar but different.
it's Ludwig Jorgensen. I don't know. He's got one of those like Swedish Viking names. But yeah, that score is awesome. It's funny watching the film when they went to
Ludwig Göransson.
Yeah, when they go to Shikari, I was thinking to myself, like, oh, it's like space Chicago.
Yeah, totally.
And then I looked into it, and it is inspired by Prohibition era Chicago.
Which totally checks out if you think about everything, because it was like salt is the big fucking...
Yeah, exactly. Being rationed by the authorities. So it was basically, it was like, it had speakeasy vibes.
Yeah, 100%. And then there was a guy, I can't remember the name of the actor, the guy who was outside of the first meeting with Lord Janu in the speakeasy. He was the like his bouncer, his big enforcer.
His name was Hog's Breath.
Hog's Breath, that's right. Hog's Breath, played by Matthew Willig, who is a guy who, if you've watched any film, he basically plays the big fuck-off bruiser in everything that you watch. But am I going crazy? But he was reminding me so much of fucking not Jabba Nawanawanga. Like, he was like a budget version.
Name's Bib Fortuna. How can you forget?
Because I have moments where I forget. But he was reminding me of like if Bib Fortuna got jacked, but had the same level of like ineptitude.
Yeah, it's like it's Bib Fortuna's like cousin.
That's right.
Because that's our thing. Everyone's just someone's cousin.
Like I loved all of those scenes. They were so funny.
All the planets we go to are sick. I love Shikari the most because I think you and I are the same. We love that like Blade Runner.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That Blade Runner, Prohibition, like old but new type of thing. I love that. That for me, that really comes from like I loved Batman the Animated Series as a kid, which had that like
obviously you're human.
Yeah, that gothic neo-noir kind of. So anything with noir or a neo-noir vibe, I froth it. I love Now Hutter. We first saw that in Clone Wars, so to see this movie has a lot of like. If you're a Clone Wars fan, you now get the thrill of seeing all the things you loved from Clone Wars on the big screen.
I loved when they showed like Rotta. The only thing they had was like Rotta as a baby, and you can see they've used the fucking thing from Clone Wars as the basis of what he looks like. And I was like, that's just such a like wink to the Star Wars, like if you've been following Clone Wars.
Yeah, you don't have to have seen the 2008 much maligned animated film Star Wars The Clone Wars. But if you have, you love that little model of Stinky, as he was called in that movie. And now Stinky's jacked and ready to take your girl.
Absolutely. And apparently joining the rebellion with Zeb, which is fucking great.
Oh, dude. Filoni is totally just setting this up because, again, he's playing with his action figures. He wants Rotta to reunite with Ahsoka in live action.
I was waiting for it. I was fucking waiting for it all episode. Because
I reckon they're going to reunite and they're going to fuck.
There is going to be a whole lot of fucking tendrils flying.
And if
out.
that's not in the next movie, I'm starting crowdfunding and I'll make the movie myself.
Haydo's fanfic comes to life again.
And it'll be stop motion with action figures.
Oh, God.
Sidebar, there's so much cool stop motion in this.
Yes.
Those two like enforcer robots that are like cobbled together in the Twins Palace. They're awesome, and they're stop motion. The Anzellans are all stop motion, which I really love.
Those two big robots as well. They were the only thing outside of main threats where you were sitting there going, you know that Mando's going to come through.
Yeah.
But you're sitting there going, oh man, he could get fucked up from this.
Yeah, it's like it's the biggest Chekhov's gun because when he goes and sees the twins to be like, what's the job?
Yeah.
He's just like, he looks at them just knowing he's like, yep, gonna have to fuck them up later.
I was literally about to say it the same way because you're just looking at all of the people, all of the droids on the way in, and I'm just like, I know exactly where.
Well, yeah, which is a really cool nod to like if you've seen the TV show, he has that trauma because his parents were killed by B2 super battle droids. So it is kind of cool. Like he did overcome that, but he still has that initial reaction of he's not looking at them purely because they're the guards at the palace. He has that in the back of his mind, I reckon, which is a cool little nod to, his character.
So I wanted to touch on a couple of things, which one thing you've brought up, which I'll just allude to and let you run with it, which is, I like to call it the Michael Bay motorcycle act of convenience, which is,
there's a lot of that.
Which is, if you remember I think it was The Rock, Nicolas Cage is chasing somebody and his car crashes, and then there's like an onlooker on a motorcycle just there, and he needs to keep the chase going. He just pushes the guy off the motorcycle and just keeps on going.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in this movie. I mean, that literally happens at the beginning in Shikari, right? The chase scene. But they do it with the stroller, which is a cool way to, I think, subvert the trope. Instead of getting the fast car, Grogu takes someone's pram. And then it's like, why is this pram so fast?
I know, right? Who is going? Who is like, fast and furiousing it in the future? Like, what is there some sort of baby race stakes that we don't know?
I love that too, because Grogu's always like his iconic imagery, I think, is him in his various strollers he's had. So that was a cool nod to see that back. But immediately I was like, man, where are the safety regulations and prams in this planet?
OH&S is going to have a field day on that.
They're absolutely nowhere here. And yeah, there is a lot of those. Like the Razor Crest is back. I hate that. I hate that so much, because that was a really big moment in season 2. Like, because he didn't just lose his ship, he lost his home. And then it's just like, oh yeah, we caught some Imperial commandant and he had a collection of old ships, so here's your like stock standard. And it's like, don't like that. It just made me groan a bit, and then you realize exactly why it's back. It's because the script demands it, because they need Rotta's not going to fit in the sleek N1 starfighter.
But you know what? I have two thoughts on this, which is it's part of me that wants to see him escaping with the Naboo starfighter and Rotta with like a helmet on, just strapped to the side of it, just going into hyperspace. Hyperspeed, sorry. And on that front, I want to see the exact same thing when they're trying to get off Swamp Planet, where Mando is strapped to the side of, what are the little dudes called?
The Anzellans.
The Anzellans.
They have names. Their names are so funny. They're the most Star Wars names ever. They're Minch, Bai, Keto, and Clang.
Oh, Keto. Definitely on a diet, that boy.
Oh, I know they might not be for a lot of people. People might view them as like mini Jar Jar Binkses maybe, but I love the Anzellans.
Oh, no, I think they're fantastic. You know who they remind me of? Do you remember the two little rat dudes from Willow?
Yes.
They're sitting there, I was like, when you go this way, you'll forget that I am the leader. This way!
Yeah.
They remind all of them. That's all I was thinking the whole way. And I was like, I am here for all of that shit.
Do you know who voices them?
I do not.
I do, I'll tell you. It's Shirley Henderson who plays Moaning Myrtle in Harry Potter.
Oh my fucking God, it is too.
Which I love that so much. Because, I went on IMDb. Yeah, I went on after the film and I was having a look and I was like, what the hell? What was Shirley Henderson in this movie? And then I laughed so much. I was like, of course, she was Minch, Bai, Keto, and Clang.
Do you know what took me? So I went down a similar rabbit hole, which is since we're into cameos now, which is a nice segue. Well done. The guy who was running the diner, who Mando squeezes for information on, I'm just going to call Chicago Planet because for some reason my brain is not.
The fact it's called Shikari makes it so obvious that it's Chicago.
Shikari was voiced by Martin Scorsese, which is so random because doesn't he hate these big budget films and this kind of stuff? So you feel like it's like...
Look, I don't know what he loves and hates anymore because I feel like every week there's some article about his whinging.
Scorsese hates this.
He's whinging about something.
And you know what? He's an old man. He can love and hate whatever he wants. You get yours, Martin.
This is like my conspiracy theory about that. So the race that he's playing, like the monkey thing, Jon Favreau voices character of the same race in Solo.
Oh, okay. So this is like a little nod for him to
and
like
also,
another wink.
And the fact that he's in like a food truck, is that that's a nod to Chef, right?
Oh, 100%.
It has to be.
Well, the thing was that he had, and this is one of my favorite little side stories, is that since Favreau and Roy Choi became friends, basically Roy Choi was the guy who came on board Chef and said to Favreau, this is how you be a chef. And he was like, if you're going to do it fucking right. Here's the way you cook. This is the way we do things. This is how you do it. And then they became like great friends. And this is my favorite part. They did the Chef TV series where it's just basically them going around with their friends, fucking trying food and cooking together, which is fucking great because Favreau's just gotten so down the food rabbit hole.
Should make like a Star Wars chef show. Like
100%.
Can you imagine
Blue Milk, baby?
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
I would watch the shit out of that. Don't give me. I don't want any more meandering Mandalorian. Okay, I want
Meandalorian.
Yeah, because that's all he did in this film. Tell you what,
you want the Chef DeLorean.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome.
I would watch the shit out of that. But Roy Choi was he does all the catering now on these big budget films. So there's definitely, you can see that those are like nods to him.
Yeah, right.
It definitely had the chef food truck vibes, 100%. The other thing,
the funny thing about that role is Martin Scorsese is billed very early in like the credits.
Yeah. And I remember watching it going, who the fuck was he? And then the second the credits rolled, the first two things I did was, is there an egg credit sequence? And had a look, and then I was like, who the fuck was Scorsese in this movie?
Yeah, I don't remember the character's name, but yeah, Favreau plays, I think his name's Rio. I think it's Rio Durant or whatever in Solo.
I can't remember. Scorsese's character was Hugo Durant.
Oh, they're related.
Oh, there you go. That's fucking hilarious.
Oh, that means his brother's dead or whatever. Are they brothers?
I don't know.
Was it Rio Durant? I'm pretty sure it was. I should have prepared.
We'll just take a moment here while you're checking IMDb. I will talk about another cameo which I loved, which was
it is Rio Durant,
and this is fitting into my Michael Bay acts of convenience, which I initially didn't like, and then I had a chat I was discussing it because I went and saw the movie with my wife, and I talked to her about it, and she had a very alternate take on it, which I've come to embrace, and I actually really like it. So when Mando gets poisoned and Grogu is going through his growth moment of daddy's sick and I don't know what to do, and I'm like a child in the woods and everything's scary and I don't know what to fucking do. He's looking for a cure, and he stumbles across this, like, best way I can describe it is fucking swamp gator, sentient swamp gator.
His name is Gatori. Or Gatory. It's literally Gator with an I on the end.
It sounds like he's from the planet Mon Calamari.
Yeah. He's from, I'm originally from Space, Florida.
He absolutely gives off the fucking, I'm from the, he's Creole, he lives on the bayou. And I was just enamored.
You just know he fought for the Confederacy. He just needs the banjo and like the grey soldier.
He's like sitting there on a rocking chair. I was waiting for him to be like, bam, 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 bam.
Yeah. The war wasn't about slavery. It was about states' rights. States' rights for what?
You just see him run over the back, slide over the top of the General Lee, and then jump down the road to go and get himself some
like
food.
A framed photo of Stonewall Jackson on the wall. Yeah, his name was Gatory.
They will rise again. Sitting there the whole time going, I fucking know this voice. Who is it? And it was a great little role. He basically was just a plot device to give Grogu everything he needs. Because he gives him like food. He gives him like, oh, looks like your boy is poisoned. Here's the antidote you didn't ask for.
Here's the forest people medicine that only I can make.
It's the character is voiced by Stephen McKinley Henderson, who is basically, he's been in a lot of roles, but the one most recently I remember him in was, he was the original journalist in Civil War. Not the MCU Civil War, the other Civil War.
The good movie, yeah.
The good one. Oh, that's a hot take, because I know you love Civil War, both of them. But he was the journo who gets horrifically tapped in the movie.
Haven't seen it.
Well, there you go. Spoilers.
Fucking spoilers.
I did preface it by saying spoilers, but I was initially like, I wouldn't say annoyed. I feel annoyed is too harsh, but or too extreme. But I looked at it like, oh well, isn't that convenient? And I just sat there and I was like, just like out of all of the things, people, places in the world, whatever, Grogu just happens to stumble upon the one guy who gives him everything he needs. And I was like, okay, plot device, fine. I'll suspend
Dave,
disbelief.
it's not a plot device. It's the Force working in mysterious ways.
Well, there is that. There is that. But the take that my wife gave me, which I liked it and I really like to embrace it, is showing that regardless of what these worlds look like, and even if you're in a place which is filled with people who are self-serving and just trying to get theirs and don't give a shit, there are people who are out there performing acts of kindness. And I really, really, I really like that take.
No, I agree with that 100%.
And I thought, and that just gave me a completely different angle and perspective on those moments. And it felt very wholesome and heartfelt, not just shoehorned in as a convenient act.
I like that. It's the classic like old man in the woods kind of trope. Like that wasn't one of those
the
things
anti-deliverance old man in the woods
for me. Like the Razor Crest being back, that is one of those like, oh, here we are, right? And yeah, gun runner, and that's purely so he can get that rifle back because the rifle also blew up in.
Yes.
When the Razor...
That's why I started this whole conversation, was to get you to drop that fucking point.
Well, that's something I really don't like. It's the thing that like bugs me the most about the movie, I think. And it's bugged me since Book of Boba Fett. And it makes me kind of worried for what's the future direction? And they've undone so many of, the setbacks and challenges that have been overcome, and they retread the same story beats with these characters.
I don't know if the fandom, if people want that level of, do you know what I mean? Like I'm honestly, I've been looking at the fundamental shifts in just storytelling and pop culture, and I definitely subscribe to like the thing that you and I've talked about a lot, which is that whole second screen concept where they don't make things too deep anymore. They don't build that extra tension because people may not be paying attention to the little nuances. So it's that thing we were talking about of it's a world not desperate to describe itself.
I don't think that's the case of this though.
No, I don't think it is at all.
I think like what I mean like retreading story beats, I mean like, oh, we've removed your helmet and it's like we did this already.
Oh, you feel like they don't know where to go. So
yeah,
we do what we know.
It's like we did the removal of the helmet. And the result was he was an outcast from his Mandalorian tribe. He then had to go to Mandalore and bathe in the waters.
The waters of Lake Titicaca.
Yeah, basically. And then he had to atone for his sins because he's now an apostate. And then they're like, remove the helmet again. And then it's like, loophole, not an apostate if I kill you. And it's like, okay, well, that's a matter of convenience. So you can get 5 minutes of Pedro Pascal's face into this film.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then they take the helmet and then they're like, oh, yeah, good entertaining fight. And then they like throw it back. And then he gets about, and then he kills them, and he's like, all right, he's not an apostate anymore. It's like, yeah, getting the Razor Crest back, and it's like, well, he lost it, and then he had to go find. So he had to. The whole point of like what happened after season 2's finale of him losing Grogu, but also abandoning his creed essentially for this child, was like he had to re-examine who he was, and he had to build himself back up. And now we're going back to a point earlier in this guy's journey where now everything's wrapped up in the neat bow. Razor Crest back, you've got your rifle back, your kids back, whatever.
You just feel like they're retconning everything that they've done before and then just going, like, here's a fresh start, but we don't know what that is.
And then it's like, well, okay, but what are we doing next then? Like what's next for this character, considering he's going to be in, like, I assume everything. And I really do think the reason they're in this spot where they're kind of going around in circles is because they made a big mistake in Book of Boba Fett. They reunited Mando with Grogu way too early, and that was a financial decision. That was not something that served the story better. And by doing that, they shoved those 2 Mando episodes into Book of Boba Fett, completely shafted Boba Fett in his own show to the point where people now don't like Boba Fett anymore.
Sacrilege.
And then then they put Luke in, and like Grogu was with Luke for like, from our perspective, like a week.
Yeah.
Like he didn't it's
And it's like, have a choice, Saber or Mando armor.
yeah, they blew their load way too early, and I think they know that.
So you feel like they're just retconning now and going, we're going to try and do this again, but we don't know what that looks like.
Yeah, because what's like obviously the end game is what Ahsoka's building to, right? Thrawn's coming back. He's bringing with him, his remnant. He's going to rally what's left of the.
Well, I was also reading a lot of this, and the plot lines for this is like it's a mash of the fourth season of Mando, but they were also the defunct, what was it, Republic series that they were going to do with
that
Gina
was
Carano, because she went crazy, how she went.
All she had to do was not tweet pretending she was a victim.
Well, yeah, and I mean because that
Rangers of the New Republic.
That's it, cool. And you could see that was there were definitely plot lines of that they threw in, and I feel like this was them just going, let's just tie everything off that we've already got concepts for. Let's make something warm and fuzzy that we know the people are going to like. And then, we can move forward with everything after that. That's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, like I just don't, because I loved Mando season 1 and 2. And that finale I thought was really exceptional. Like it felt a bit beyond what I expected from a live action Star Wars TV show, Like, I thought it was bold to challenge your main character like that. He had abandoned everything by the end of those 2 seasons.
Yeah.
For the child. And then you watched, like, if you didn't watch Book of Boba Fett, which a lot of people didn't, season 3 of Mando starts with Grogu and Mando back together. And you're like, when did this happen? Yeah. Oh, it's in another show. Why is it in this other show? Because we wanted our merchandising cash cow to also be in this show.
On that note, any character omissions? I've been thinking a lot about this when I formulated this question, and I had it very solid in my mind when I was writing the run sheet for this, and then and now I feel very differently and ambivalent about it. Any character omissions from this? Because is there a part of me that would have loved to have seen Boba Fett just swing in, or a couple of Mandalorians, or, Bo-Katan come in? Like he's helped so many people. He's in strife. There's not like the fucking Grogu panic button that he can hit, and you know what I mean? The cavalry outside of fucking X-Wing comes in. And part of me was like, how dare they not have fucking Boba in this? How dare, you know what I mean?
Boba was never going to be in it, as much as I wanted him to.
But I feel like there's no cameos outside of maybe a fucking Ahsoka nod with Rotta. I don't really feel like there's a cameo in there that could have worked. Do you get where I'm coming from?
I don't want any cameos. I want like meaningful roles for characters.
Okay.
Like Embo's not a cameo. He's like a secondary antagonist to support the Hutts, which I like. I just would have liked more Embo.
Let's say character omissions then, rather than.
I think a character omission that I do find weird. Didn't they rebuilt IG-11, right, to be the Marshal of New Navarro or whatever? There's an action figure for him, so he was obviously meant to be in this at some point.
I would have liked to have seen a little something with IG, maybe the armorer, you know what I mean? Like he's lost his way and he's just like, I don't know what I'm doing, or something like that at some point.
I wouldn't have liked that, because that would have fed into this thing of it's the same story beats. It's like I'm lost again. I'm glad there's no other Mandalorians in this.
Okay.
I don't think they would serve any purpose. And if they did, it would be a different plot. You know what I mean? It would have been a completely different plot. I wanted Boba Fett so bad. I knew he wasn't going to be in it.
Yeah, same.
When they were like, oh, Gunrunner. And I was just like, oh, maybe that goes wrong. And, Rotta gets taken. And then maybe Mando goes, I need some fucking help. Who knows the Hutts better?
Yeah, I need a backup.
You've got the inside man type thing.
Even if he just did a little hollow thing of hey man, you got the skinny on blah.
And this is this is classic Star Wars. I'm going to write my own fan fiction alternative. In another timeline where Book of Boba Fett hasn't happened, and this is really a season 3. Do you know what could have been cool? Is the guy that the Hutts hire to take down Mando is Boba Fett. That would have been cool. But that's neither here nor there, because there's too much in between.
That would have been hilarious.
I just, the sad thing to me is I really liked Boba Fett's portrayal in Book of Boba Fett. Like, I really liked his like journey with the Tusken Raiders. I liked him trying to reestablish himself of like, hey, bounty hunting's gone pretty poorly for me, actually. Maybe I want to do something else.
Yeah.
And I kind of liked that. But they cut his own legs out from underneath him. You know what I mean? Like, there's one of those episodes where he's literally not in it till the end and they discuss a plan to like take back Mos Eisley. And he says like one word and it's like, this show is called Book of Boba Fett. And it really became Mando's season, 2.5.
Yeah.
And I think then they're now stuck. And that's why this was soft reboot vibes for me. It was kind of like, forget all that. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's another big movie at the end of whatever they're planning, with Thrawn and all that. And maybe we get a cool Boba Fett comes in and he crunches a bunch of imps. And then, they put the character to rest. But yeah, that's why I was saying earlier, like the meandering Mandalorian, that's what this kind of feels to me now. He's like planet hopping. I'm gonna go talk to this guy. He's gonna give me information on this guy.
Like, this definitely has the lead into just they will keep expanding on that deck of cards thing, and that will be the next season. It's just going to be we're going to go through the decks, and then it'll all lead up to the big bad at the end, which we're assuming will be some sort of crossover with Thrawn.
It has to be, because that's the implication, right? Is that there's a bigger bad than all these like wannabe warlords who are so bad at it, by the way. That's what I love about this. Janu's doing pretty good because he understands like discretion, where that guy at the beginning,
he was useless.
He fucking sucks.
That was Commander Barrow.
Yeah,
Barrow just caps one poor fucking villager there and then just throws them all guns and be like, defend me, peace out. It's like,
I love that.
Prob's not, bro. You just killed the dude sitting next to me.
I love that intro because it shows just like the lie that is the Empire, because it's meant to be about stability and order and all that. And it's like, we got no money because we're getting absolutely
fleeced by you.
We're getting hammered on the trade routes by pirates because you're not protecting us, even though we're giving you so much protection money. And he's just like, you saying I'm doing a bad job? And it's like, yeah, dickhead.
And it's like, well, you're about to die.
Yeah, and then I noticed he caps like the clearly alien one of the people there.
You know what he was giving? He was giving me like less competent Dr. Evil. And it's just saying, he was like, no, we don't do that anymore. Right. And he just like presses the button. The guy slides down a chute into, I don't know, a fucking Sarlacc pit or whatever else. Okay, I have to say one thing though. One word, Zeb.
Yeah, I love that Zeb's in it. Doesn't really have a meaningful role though. He's just he's the pilot.
He's the plucky comic relief, which is what I'm going for everything. Every episode now, I'm going to pick one that's the plucky. I love that he actually got his like, I'm just going to show you what a fucking badass.
Oh yeah, he wrecked shop.
For those people who've never seen Rebels, it's just like this is what you're missing. This is what you're missing. This is his level of fucking badassery.
I think it is. He doesn't do much, but I think it's a cool way because they're trying to interconnect everything. Zeb will obviously, I think, have a bigger role once, Ahsoka 2 happens, or the other big movie they'll do where
Ahsoka 2, 10.
They're going to reunite the Rebels crew, obviously. So I'm looking forward to that more.
Absolutely. And the war
it's cool. It's cool Zeb's in there. Any character could have played that role, I think. So it's cool that they were like, let's use Zeb.
Mm.
Like that, it's just a cool way of being like, he's just an alien guy. You don't need to know that he's one of the last of his people who are absolutely exterminated by the Empire. You don't need to know that.
We don't need his backstory. Just need to know cool alien dude.
They introduced him in Mando season 3, but like in having Zeb there though, the question to me is like, where's Callus? Like, I would love to see Callus and Zeb on screen together. I think that would be pretty cool. Seeing how Filoni is now in the seat and he's just like, all these characters I'm making them live action now, guys. Check out my cool action figures.
That's right.
How do you feel about Dave Filoni being in the bar with his...
I believe you said that. I was literally just about to bring it up. I was going to say my two favorite cameos in this are Dave Filoni, which is his cameo as himself in the bar. I don't care what anyone says. It's literally it's like he's walked off a fucking Comic-Con panel and just walked straight into the bar and gone, give me a fucking beer, let's go. And then his second cameo is Trapper Wolf in the scenes.
Well, I think the implication is that him in the bar with the cowboy hat on is Trapper Wolf.
It is absolutely not. It is Dave Filoni. I will die on that hill.
It's that classic meme of like, he didn't even know they were filming that day. He just liked to sit on the set.
That's right. You have a look. He's got like a coffee cup there. Just accidentally.
The funny part about it to me is that he's not like in the background as a character. It's a pan to Dave Filoni sitting at the bar. Because like George is in Revenge of the Sith as like a background character, like a Pantora, and so he's colored blue. His kids are, dressed up as well. Like it's a whole family. It's a nice little nod. The only way you'd know is if you've looked online or it's in one of the reference visual guides. But like you wouldn't know. Whereas this is like, can you imagine if you're not a loser like us who knows who Dave Filoni is? Because you're probably just like, who's the cowboy hat guy?
He must be important.
Yeah.
This is like nothing until the end. You see
it's like
one shot of him like,
yeah, and he flies the X-Wings at the end. Which is
I did love the throwbacks to the old school fucking, like the HUD up displays and stuff like that when the bombers were coming in to take out, I guess, Pooh Palace is what we're calling it.
Pooh Palace.
It was very, Star Wars, and
no, we're calling it the Giant Hut.
the giant hut of huts.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I'm a bit over sort of the X-Wings coming in to save the day because they've done it a lot now, and I get it. If you haven't seen other things, this is cool to you. I get that. I'm a rare breed who watches and consumes all of it. But like, this is how this happened in Skeleton Crew as well, which is pretty fresh in my mind because, it wasn't that long ago.
It's so good. So underrated.
Yeah, like, and that's what I was thinking about with this film too. Like, is this a fun, swashbuckling adventure?
Well,
yes.
that brings the question, is this a Star Wars film?
Oh, yeah, this is Star Wars. I sounded pretty negative in the middle about the film. I do like it. There's just like a broader question of where are we going? Because
I think you're looking at the bigger picture rather than this picture.
Yeah, well, but this didn't give any direction either. This is kind of like want to watch a fun action film? And I'm like, yeah, I do. But also, you've got some like problems here if you're going to keep redoing this, because ultimately I love Din Djarin and I love Grogu a lot. So it's like, can we see something more with these two that isn't? Because these two characters, to me, with the groundwork they'd already laid earlier, is there more than just the fun action figure?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I really love, like, the bounty hunters from Empire Strikes Back, right? Like, I really love Bosk probably the most, but I like Forlom and Zuckuss, but, like, they're just background people that look cool. I don't want Mando and Grogu to beat that. They can be so much more than that. And we've already seen them be a little bit more. So it's kind of sad to see two characters you love that are clearly stuck in a bit of a narrative rut, is kind of how I feel about it. But I'm hoping, we get something more.
I feel like this is, and again,
rebellions are built on hope, Dave.
They are built on hope. Haydo. Somebody was saying that earlier in this podcast.
Yeah.
I do think that, and maybe this is my cockeyed optimism, but I do feel like this is Filoni kind of like winding up all the threads. Like, he had a whole bunch of I've got a whole bunch of half-finished projects here. Let's shoehorn everything together into something that's kind of fun. We can do this with like a director and somebody that I've collaborated with a lot and worked with a lot. I know that he will, shoot the shit out of this and it's going to be great looking. Favreau knows how to bring the fun. Do you know what I mean? And it'll be
because it's ultimately all these all these criticisms and this discussion. It's a good movie. Like, it's solid. It's fun. It's just,
do you know what I feel like?
The thing is, they can't do another one of these.
No, it's a popcorn movie.
Oh, 100%.
Like, there is no, it's like empty carbs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's the Macca's cheeseburger.
It is. It is. It's just like you get a little bit of, spice in it with the mustard and the pickle, which is like Grogu's development. And then the rest of it is pretty much, you'll, well, it's not the same because you don't have the immediate regret after eating a cheeseburger. But, it's that moment. And I do love that. Now, I know we've hit a lot of this.
But before whatever you're moving on to, you said, is it a Star Wars movie?
Sure.
The reason I say yes is because I think Star Wars ultimately, it's about family, right? Whether that's bloodline or whatever, or like a found family, which is what Clan Mudhorn is.
Yes.
The bit at the very end I really love is because, you know, they're flying away and then Mando's like, all right, I'll teach you how to use, like, fly the ship almost. It's like that introduction to, it's like Razor Crest 101. Because they set that up like at the very beginning of the film. He's like, don't fucking touch shit, kid.
Yeah.
And then he needs him to touch stuff later when they're getting away from the Janu estate. And he's like, well, I don't know. So he's like shooting the missiles off, which is so funny. So that's a cool thread, I think, by the end. But it reminds me so vividly when I was about like 4 or 5 and lived in Townsville. My dad or my mum would get to the driveway and they would like stop the car and then they would let me on their lap and they'd be like, hold the wheel.
Right.
And then they would let me, you know, look how the gear shift.
Oh, yeah. No, my dad did the same when
movie.
It's a film. Film.
The holodeck. How that ended, like, made me a bit teary and nostalgic because I was it took me back to that garage in Townsville, driving in, and then like fully, like, we owned a Falcon and like I own a Falcon now, and I don't own a Falcon because I have this weird brand loyalty to Ford. I don't know anything about fucking cars. I own a Ford Falcon because I used to call our Falcon as a kid the Millennium Falcon.
Of course you did. Of course you fucking.
And it took me back, and that was like that. Star Wars being that vehicle for like nostalgia and
it's poetry.
It's like poetry, it rhymes. But that, you know, and that like the, you know, the family dynamic that's in Star Wars, and I was like, what a cool like feeling to feel in a film. I
kind of looked at it through the lens of, so as we've established, I'm quite aged compared to you, and I've seen every Star Wars film in the cinemas as they came out. And I tried to remember, like, when I was 5 and I saw Star Wars in the cinemas in 77, how would 5-year-old me have like had the same vibes watching this film? Would I have loved it? Would I have identified? And I was like, yeah, because Mando is like Luke and Han thrown together. Do you know what I mean? Your villains are your villains, and who, you know, like, they're nondescript and who cares?
Embo's Boba Fett. He just looks cool.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm just I was looking at all of that going, 5-year-old me through this lens would have absolutely fucking had a blast and loved
5-year-old Hayden loves this. The 1-year-old Hayden likes this.
And that's kind of like the lens that I look through all of these films as.
Oh yeah, this is a kid's film. I bet children went to this and they just loved it. They don't care about,
and they spent $80 on a popcorn bucket.
Oh yeah. They you know,
the parents did.
And if they haven't seen the show, they don't care that he's already taken the helmet off. Like I get all that. Like it's the thing, you can't please everyone. Not that I'm upset, but yeah, I want more for these two characters because, you know, Grogu.
Well, we've seen more.
Grogu could be something really special. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if like because everyone hates the sequel trilogy, and they want to do something with it. If, like, you know, Rey ends up being a Jedi master at some temple and is going to encounter like teenager Grogu.
Is it wrong? I'm hoping that teenage Grogu is like teenage Groot and just like surly and just like, fuck you with the Force, man.
Yeah, I just want to, you know, I think we're going somewhere with the characters. I like to hope. And I think that indication at the end was probably the best thing for me of that. It was, there's not no growth in the movie. It's just there's little growth, but there is something there. That's why ultimately I think that scene with Grogu in the forest is like what you were saying about the tribalism and the philosophy, and like Mando started as a Western, right? I think Din Djarin is like, it's all the tropes of the Western, and Grogu is all the tropes of like the Eastern samurai film.
You could say it's almost Growth-Goo.
Growth-Goo. Girth-Goo.
No, that's a different film. Now, we did peg this, and I don't know if you have any bits and pieces left, but we're calling this Haydo's Holocron, which is just any final bits of tangents or trivia that you haven't touched on.
Oh boy, do I have a lot. So obviously the main driver of the film is Mando hunting the imps that are in the deck of the cards, which is a Sabacc deck.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. Sabacc is obviously the game played in the Solo film as well, and a heap of other things. But the deck of cards, which has all the Imperials, war criminals, I'm going to call them, is actually developed by Rebel Intelligence. So officers of the New Republic, when playing Sabacc, could get to know who they're looking for, which is actually based on something in real life, which is very cool. So for the Iraq War, the US Defense Department had a deck of playing cards with a heap of terrorists on them.
Shit.
And the coolest part about this is that I have a deck of these cards. So, as you know, my dad was in the army, so he actually went to Iraq. And yeah, he brought me back a deck of these cards. And straight up, the Ace of Spades is like Saddam Hussein.
That's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, so when she handed him that card and it was, blacked out because they don't know what he looked like, again, it did that thing, right? I immediately went to holy crap, I have that.
That's why.
Because in the deck of cards, some of the, Iraqi most wanted, they don't have pictures. So it's just a black silhouette. And I thought that was so cool, which builds into what you were
just
saying.
sitting there going, I'm Grogu then.
Yeah. I got home and I busted them out and I was looking through them and I was taken back to, when Dad came back from Iraq and he gave me this deck of cards and I had a cork board on my wall.
Oh, no.
And I had them all on there and I'd throw darts.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say it became a dartboard.
And I hated Saddam Hussein and whatever. So I'd be because I'm you took my dad away from me for a couple of months.
I love that you became a 1930s gangster while you were throwing darts.
Oh,
Take that, Saddam, see me.
I always say to my wife, I missed my true calling to be a trigger man in a 1920s mob film. And she's you're too empathetic to be in the mafia. And I'm just I think 1920s Haydo is different.
It's just built different.
I was because I've got the vibe right. If I put the trench coat on and the fucking trilby or fedora, I just look like a brick.
You are the absolute gentle giant kind of a thing.
Yeah.
People look at you and if they didn't know you, they'd be oh, fuck. And then as soon as people talk to you and get to know you, they're this guy's the loveliest guy ever.
Yeah, they're
cooked, but lovely.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the cards. Builds into what you said. It feels real, the MASH, the Vietnam, that all feels genuine. So Star Wars has always been good at because George was always, the attack on the Death Star in the first film is very dam busters and all that sort of stuff. The X-Wings and Y-Wings, they look sci-fi, but they also have that World War II fighter energy about them.
Retro-futuristic kind
of
exactly.
And I love in Clone Wars how all the Republic gunships, they've got the nose art.
Yeah,
with teeth or they've got hot Twi'lek pin-ups and all. It's very cool in the way it does that
and all of that. Yeah.
So I think the deck of cards is maybe my favorite, or I'd say it's my favorite because that's a deep cut to a very real thing that happened in my childhood. Obviously, their invasion of Iraq.
For me, it was the realization when, and I'll need you to help me with the specifics of this, but when Rotta and Din are having the death match against all of the alien monsters at the end.
They're playing
Dejarik. So it was literally a recreation of that game that you see C-3PO and Chewie playing in the Millennium Falcon in Star Wars.
Yeah, it's always called holo chess. Yeah,
and it's let the Wookiee win.
Let the Wookiee win.
And seeing that, and even the fact that the fucking arena was decked out like the chessboard.
Yep,
had the same squares and everything. I was literally yanking my wife's arm in the cinema, the thing, it's the thing. And she looked at me yes, I've noticed that. No, that was the thing.
Yeah. And it's have you noticed it? Because you're not nearly as excited as you should be.
And I remember watching it going the second because you'd already seen it. You saw the midnight screening and I went the next day. And I remember literally sitting there going, I got to fucking ask Haydo the second I get out of it, are these the same characters? Are they this? Because I know you know the answer.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I was so happy. You're like, yes.
It's so cool too because the tall one that's like a lizard and it's got like a loin. It's got clothes on.
Well, it might be a lizard, but it's a modest lizard.
It like picks up the other one and throws it down in the same way it does in the game.
Exactly.
In the original.
It was so fucking good. And I was
that's
going,
that's the fan service I like.
Same.
Because it serves the story. That scene's awesome. You get to see all the creatures. They're all horrifying. There's a really funny scene. And I said to my wife after I watched it, because Mando doesn't have any weapons, right? And he goes and he looks at the rack of the weapons. I knew exactly what weapon he was going to grab because a couple of weeks ago I bought the Mando and Grogu Black Series figure and it came with a little sword. And I was like, oh, weird. And then I saw the sword on the fucking thing and I was like, he's grabbing the sword. That's why the action figure comes with it. Which is like reinforces the whole thing of like, yeah, they make this shit to sell merch.
I mean, they've not shied away from that, and I don't think they have.
Oh, mate, if they release a like $500 Dejarik hollow chess board, I'm buying it. I'm almost buying two, so like one is sealed
and one is to play,
and then one is to play.
I can't fault that logic.
Yeah, I'm with you there. That's what made me think a little bit. It's like I love the deck of cards, but the Dejarik match is so cool.
That was legit my favorite. Outside of like Grogu's development and him having like a little meditative moment while he's like gathering his thoughts, while his dad is like slowly dying from poison. Yeah. I was literally just sitting there going, I love these moments. And I love that they build these in. So it's like, if you're a fan and if you're a super fan, these are for you. But if you're not, we're just crafting a film that's going to be a fun ride for you if you don't have any affinity or understanding of these characters. I think it's a success and they've done well.
And with the monsters too, I don't know if they look like it. I think they might be stop motion as well.
Yeah, I felt like that was
with little models. And the reason why that's cool is because the stop motion's done by Phil Tippett and his studio, and Phil Tippett worked on the original Star Wars film doing all the stop motion.
Fucking Haydo's holocron.
Yeah.
Coming through with the goods again.
And he did the stop motion for the droid. Like, he did it all in this film. But, like everything else you love about Star Wars, like obviously the Dejarik in the first one, but like Tauntauns and all that's like all the creature stop motion from back in the day, like that's really what Phil Tippett, built his career on. So to have him come back and get to do that on the big screen again, like that's very cool. Like I love that stuff. There's something really silly at the beginning of the film when he's in like the fighting in the AT-ATs and that stupid little ship flies out. That's actually an INT-4 interceptor, which is not in any films. It's from the Kenner action figure mini rigs toys, which they made for Empire Strikes Back.
I do remember those.
I love those so much because it's literally just like we want to sell Star Wars merch and we've run out of vehicles that are actually in the film and someone's just gone, just fucking make shit up, mate. It's going to sell.
Just take that and put that on it and away you go.
Yeah. There's one back in the day I've always wanted to track down because Bosk is meant to go in it and it's a stupid little ship and I'd love to put my like vintage original Bosk Kenner figure into it. So I love that because they did that in Rebels too with like that Stormtrooper troop carrier.
Oh, yeah.
That was like originally just a toy that never made it into the film. So I love when they do introduce new stuff. They're like, they must go into like the archives and they're like, what's a toy that hasn't been on the screen yet?
You can just see collectors who bought the original toy like, oh yes, this is now worth 20, 30K. Thank you so much for that.
I was thinking too, because obviously I love Lego. And I was like, oh, it's weird they didn't do like an AT-AT set for Lego. No, they announced one this week and it opens up on the side and the stupid little interceptor can fly out of it.
I had one other tiny thing which I noticed, which is through one of the corridors in Chicago Planet, in the script, the classic Star Wars script.
Orabesh.
They did a nice little a tribute to Carl Weathers, which I thought was very, very sweet, where it was kind of like a in memorandum thing.
I do love that stuff. whenever there's like a new show or movie, I always love the ultra nerds who like decode all the Aurebesh in the back so you can see.
And they go
everything
through and it's
is.
like, here's the thing that you had no idea was there.
And they're always references, which I love as well, which like really shows that level of detail people are going to, and on the back end who bring this stuff to life.
I agree. I'm trying to find what the quote.
Something else I really loved. I loved Embo's ship. I loved how it was like a classic UFO. And I loved when he captured Mando, it like flew above them and it just had that light came down like they were being abducted. I thought that was a really cool nod to, earlier sci-fi films and alien abduction stuff.
Okay, here we go. The Easter egg is when they're going through it, there is a sign that reads Weathers Apollo.
Yeah, because of Apollo Creed, right?
Apollo Weathers. Sorry, Carl Weathers is the name, and it was Apollo Creed, yes. Yeah. So I thought that was really, really cool that they did that. Also, just looking over the character now, realizing that Hugo Durant has the big bushy eyebrows like Martin Scorsese does as well.
It looks exactly like
Martin, or as I like
Scorsese.
to say, the caterpillars, the twin caterpillars.
I'm picturing the meme like the absolute cinema, but it's just like, absolute cameo. This film was absolute dog shit.
Do you have any, I don't, but do you have any final thoughts? Do you have any things that you want to add that you feel we haven't touched on, missed?
I think for as negative as I sort of sounded on the, zero stakes, little growth, bit of a nothing burgers plot, undoes setbacks, retreads the story beats. I think ultimately what it sort of lacks in that area, it makes up for in spirit. And I think that's why people go, is it good? I go, yeah, it's good. Like it's a fun action movie and all that, but it does have a lot of spirit. And I think that's really carried by the relationship with Din and Grogu. It's very heartwarming.
I think what you said, the family element.
It's the found family thing. Yeah.
It's that because, the bonding with Rotta and Zeb is really, kind. Like both, you wouldn't perceive looking at either of those characters, them as kind characters, just on visuals alone. Well, but there is a lot of kindness between them. And it also it gives me that moment where you see like Rotta and Grogu like frolicking in the waves at the beach. Like this just off the kilter, unbelievably wholesome, sweet moment between them where it's like both of them reclaiming childhood that they've lost. And it's just like, for me, those moments ring out so much more than, and maybe this is just my own childhood traumas coming.
I love that moment too, because it's like, Rotta's not that old. Like Rotta must be like mid-20s.
Yeah.
Or maybe pushing 30. Like I'm not too sure.
But he had like a stolen childhood.
Yeah. And it's like, well, why this guy should not be fighting in a gladiator pit. Like what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah.
And, he has that weird warped sense of like, oh, no, he's good to me. He's like, he's not good to you. He treats you well now because you're winning and you earn money for him.
Yeah.
Like, you are nothing.
You were a cash cow to him and that's it.
And it's that thing of like, I want to get out of my father's shadow and be my own man. And it's like, well, you're not your own man and you're basically still in your father's shadow. It's just that your father's now Janu instead of Jabba. So that
you switched a J for a J.
Yeah. And that scene on the beach is really cool because, like, I think you forget after everything Grogu's been through, like, he's still a kid.
Yeah.
And, like, what happened to him was really awful. Like, to be at the temple when it was massacred as a youngling, but, like, it's worse for Grogu because, like, he's
like a babyling.
Yeah, he's barely a youngling. Like, and again, this is Jedi, man. Like, child soldier bullshit. This is putting people in danger. So, yeah, like, I love that. And I do love the interaction where Rotta's like, hey, look after your dad. Like, he's one of the good ones. Because, like, it's cool in the context, too, of imagine how many bounty hunters Rotta's been around his whole life. And he's like, and there wouldn't be many good ones. I think that's why, like, Embo's pretty apathetic in the film, too. Like, the Hutts are like, save us at the end. And he's, he just walks off.
He's really like, yeah, nah.
He's like, I only work for money. What do we feel about the Hutts? Like the twins, because they're from Book of Boba Fett.
I didn't mind the twins at all. I mean, I felt that they were a little, cookie cuttery, like mwahaha.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
they're Saturday morning cartoon villains. Yeah.
there was never a moment where I was like, oh, these guys are definitely not going to betray you at the first opportunity they get. I was like, you are a Hutt through and through, and you are going to serve your own best interests. So 100%.
I love the way they died because I don't know if you noticed, but right before the first one gets eaten, the other one pushes the Hutt like into its mouth, and I was like, oh, it's the mole thing of like pushing Dino Dingus into Vader.
Yep.
He pushes one of the other ones, and then it eats them both anyway. And I do love as the dragon snake goes away, it pops up and you see the two lumps in its stomach.
Like you're just going to sit there like a sarlacc and digest it over the next fucking 20 years.
How do you feel about the Armani? The like fish people.
Yeah, I'd actually put that out of my fucking memory. Like that is like some kind of, I don't know if you ever watched the TV show Fringe, but that's some X-Files-esque fucking like horror show right there. Like that is nightmare fuel. Pure, like it's like you're a slug and the underside of your body is a face, but as if somebody had like flattened it out. Like no. Nightmare fuel.
And that's again, like you said, like the tribalism thing, because they're like a fish people tribe and they have like primitive weapons and spears or whatever. They're in Return of the Jedi. There's one in like Jabba's palace as like a background alien. So that's also a cool nod.
Oh, fuck, I had no idea.
Yeah, to bring them back. I've found some really deep cuts on them. You know how he goes into the crashed gunrunner and there's like one in there and it rolls at him?
Yeah.
Apparently in like a 1980s or 1990s like role-playing Star Wars game, there was a little enemy description that said Armani like roll at people to attack them.
And that's it. That was like Favreau and Filoni are like, fuck it, we're using it.
Yeah, so that's literally why it rolls at him. Because you're thinking, you're like, oh, they've just made a choice here. And it's like, oh, no, there's an obscure, like, paragraph about how they roll to attack.
That is fucking hilarious.
And I'm like, is that misinterpreted? Do they mean you have to roll the dice to attack? And
it was clearly a D1 on that one. And because they got taken the fuck out.
Yeah, I love the creatures in this film. There's so many cool aliens, which the production values are pretty good. Like, Gatory, whatever his name is, Gatorade. I'm calling that man Gatorade. Old Uncle Gatorade, the Confederate veteran. That's my headcanon. Like his design's awesome. Like he looks kind of scary and imposing.
He looks like a catfish.
Yeah, but he's not. Like he's kind. The Anzellans all look great. I love him. I loved Embo and Clone Wars, so of course I love him here. The Kibu looks awesome. Yeah, all the degenerate creatures. Like Rotta looks good jacked. I love that he had like axes and stuff too.
Yeah, when the first time he gets up and he just flexes, I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is not the like lazy moving around Hutt I'm used to. He's just like, he came to play.
It's cool, like visual storytelling to, show the viewer that he is different to the other Hutts, because all the other Hutts can barely move. They're gluttonous and all that. So Rotta being, different visually is really cool, I think. Because it's like, yeah, he's not like the others. Like, he's had to work to be who he is.
It's quite literally, you're looking at him like he's been through trauma and he's worked on himself. And he is now, at least physically, in peak condition compared to,
That's something else I would watch. Like what's that wrestling show? Is it Glow or something? I'd watch like a WWE styled, like, Star Wars Gladiator Pit Fighter show. And it'd be cheap to make because you just need that. What's that stupid green screen they make everything on? You just use that and you got two sets, which is like the Gladiator Pit and then the change rooms. And then it'd just be drama about who hates who.
I'm just seeing this. All I can go through is I can see in my head is this fucking draw card of who it is. And it's Macho the Hutt versus Jabba the Hulk. It's just fucking.
It writes itself, man. It really does. Speaking of Jabba the Hutt.
Jim the Anvil Night Hut.
That's a good one. Have you seen these funny interviews with Diego Luna, who plays, of course, Cassian Andor, where they're like, oh, like what Star Wars character would you like want to touch or whatever? And he says Jabba, but he says Yabba.
Jabba the Hutt.
But yeah, he's like, yeah, I want to touch Yabba. He's like, I think he would feel like fun to touch. And at one point he says he'd like to be inside Yabba.
I mean, look, race your way, Diego.
Made me think of like we get like some fan art of Diego Luna and like
I don't know. I feel this is feeding horribly into your fan fiction / porn of Ahsoka and Rotta, with Diego just like lurking in the background.
Why do you call it porn? That makes it sound so dirty. It would be no. It'd be pure romance. Yeah, like I want a Rotta romance novel with Ahsoka. You just know, man. You just know. Because realistically, right, he already kind of barebacked Ahsoka because he was in that backpack that she carried around in that Clone Wars movie.
I have nothing else to add. I have no.
I'm gonna end up on like a fucking. I'm gonna end up on a deck of cards.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, it's like awful hot Star Wars takes. Fucking the Ace of Spades, Haydo. This man has asked for a Rotta romance novel.
God. Final thought? Dare I ask?
Nah, good fun. If you go into the movies, see Sheep Detectives. Nah, that's it from me, I reckon. Do you have any final thoughts?
No, similar vibes. I really enjoyed it. I want to put a bow on this now before it degenerates.
It's a wrap.
Fucking hell.
Elite.